looked around your life and felt like everything was spinning out of control? You wake up tired, your schedule's scattered, your goals are blurry, and you're just trying to survive another day. You keep telling yourself you'll get organized one day. But that day never seems to come. The bills pile up, opportunities slip away, and your peace of mind slowly fades. You want change, but something inside you keeps waiting for the right moment, the moment that never arrives. I've been there. I felt that weight, that quiet frustration of knowing I'm capable of more, but feeling trapped in disorganization. But one day I realized something that shook me to my core. My life wasn't falling apart, it was simply unorganized. And that's when everything began to change. See, chaos isn't always an attack from the enemy. Sometimes it's just the result of neglect. Sometimes it's what happens when we let life lead us instead of leading our lives. And the truth is, no matter how anointed, gifted, or talented you are, if your life lacks order, your purpose will always remain buried beneath the mess. Now, let's look at this from a divine perspective. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." That means if confusion dominates your life, God is not the architect of it. He designed you for order, for clarity, for direction. That's His nature. And because you're made in His image, order is meant to be your lifestyle. But here's the challenge. Order doesn't happen by wishful thinking. It doesn't show up when you feel inspired. You have to force yourself to organize your life. You have to fight through the excuses, the laziness, the comfort zones, and say enough is enough. My life deserves structure. Because until you decide to get serious about your order, you'll keep living beneath your potential. When you start to organize your life, your time, your priorities, your habits, your space, something supernatural begins to happen. Peace replaces panic. Focus replaces frustration. Confidence replaces confusion. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You begin to see that every blessing you've been praying for requires a level of structure to sustain it. God won't pour new wine into old wineskins. He won't release your next level until you create the capacity to handle it. And I want you to hear me clearly. Organizing your life is not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. It's about becoming the kind of person who can manage success, not just desire it. Because opportunities don't wait for the unprepared. They're attracted to order, discipline, and readiness. So if your life feels like it's in pieces, maybe it's not punishment, maybe it's an invitation. An invitation to rise up, to reset, and to realign your world with purpose. God wants you to bring order into every area of your life. Your mind, your habits, your finances, your goals, your relationships. Because where there's order, His peace dwells. And where His peace dwells, progress begins. So today, I challenge you. Stop waiting for motivation and force yourself into organization. Clean the clutter, set the schedule, structure your days. Because when you do, you'll discover something powerful. Order is not just a habit, it's a spiritual principle. It's the foundation on which destiny is built. When your life is disorganized, you don't just lose time, you lose peace. You don't just misplace things, you misplace purpose. Every day that passes without order quietly drains your energy, your focus, and your faith. And the truth is, disorganization doesn't announce itself loudly. It creeps in slow. It starts with small neglect. An undone task, a missed appointment, an ignored plan, until one day you wake up and realize your whole life feels like it's running you instead of you running it. Have you ever noticed how stress multiplies when you don't have structure? You wake up anxious because you don't know where to start. You go to bed frustrated because You didn't accomplish what mattered most. You're constantly busy but not truly productive. That's not how God intended you to live. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." That means wherever confusion reigns, peace is absent. And when peace is absent, progress becomes impossible. You see, God created the universe in perfect order. He separated light from darkness, waters from the land, day from night, everything in its proper place. And if the Creator himself functions in order, how much more should we, his creation, reflect that same discipline in our lives? Organization isn't just about managing your schedule. It's about aligning your world with divine design. Let's think about a real-life moment. Imagine someone juggling work, family, church, and personal growth all at once. They're trying to please everyone, do everything, and be everywhere. But deep down, they're drowning in exhaustion. Their mind is cluttered. Their priorities are scattered, and even their prayer life feels rushed. They're not lazy. They're simply unorganized. And as a result, what should bring joy now feels like a burden. They're running fast, but they're not going far. That's what disorganization does. It robs you of clarity. It makes you feel overwhelmed by everything, yet accomplished in nothing. You begin to confuse motion with progress. You start living in survival mode instead of growth mode. But once you begin to organize your life, even in small steps, something powerful begins to shift inside you. You realize that peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of order. Organization is not just a practical discipline. It's a spiritual act of obedience. When you organize your time, you're honoring the gift of time God gave you. When you manage your resources wisely, you're showing gratitude for provision. When you plan your day intentionally, you're declaring that your purpose matters. That's why life organization is not optional for people who want to live with meaning. It's essential. So many people pray for new blessings, new doors, new opportunities, but they haven't built the structure to sustain them. They want more from God without managing what they already have. But divine increase always follows divine order. Before God multiplies, he organizes. Before he promotes, he prepares. And sometimes what you're calling a delay is really God waiting for you to get organized enough to handle what you're asking for. I want you to think about this. How can God trust you with more when you are still losing track of what's already in your hands? Organization tells heaven, I'm ready for more. It signals maturity, readiness, and responsibility. It creates space for growth, creativity, and rest. And when your life is in order, your mind becomes calm, your faith becomes clearer, and your spirit becomes stronger. So if you truly want to experience peace, progress, and power, start by organizing your life. Clear your physical space, structure your spiritual disciplines, plan your daily habits, and align your priorities with purpose. Because order is not just about tidying up your environment, it's about transforming your mind. When your life is structured, you don't chase opportunities, opportunities find you. And I want to remind you today, God can do great things with a life that's in order. Your next level depends on your ability to steward the present one. Discipline today creates destiny tomorrow. So force yourself to organize your life, not because it's easy, but because your future depends on it. Every organized life begins with one thing: self-discipline. You cannot organize your world if you cannot first organize yourself. Self-discipline is the silent architect behind every great life. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up when the alarm rings, not because you're motivated, but because you're committed. It's choosing structure over chaos, focus over feelings, and consistency over convenience. So many people pray for God to change their lives, but they ignore the truth that God works through discipline. You can't pray your way into a life that you're not willing to structure. You can't desire excellence and still live in disorder. Self-discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the training ground where character is built and success is sustained. And let's be honest, discipline doesn't always feel good. It stretches you, it challenges you, and it often feels uncomfortable. But growth always hides behind discomfort. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're building strength. Every time you choose to plan instead of procrastinate, you're shaping your future. Every small disciplined action compounds into a lifestyle that commands respect and produces results. Think about your time. How many hours slip away each day because of disorganization? How much energy is wasted trying to fix what could have been prevented with a little planning? Discipline gives you control over your time. It teaches you to say no to what doesn't serve your purpose and yes to what moves you forward. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Now, I want you to reflect for a moment. What's one area of your life where you've been lacking discipline? Maybe it's your time management. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your consistency in prayer, study, or personal development. Whatever it is, understand this. Discipline in one area strengthens your capacity in every other area. The moment you get disciplined, your focus sharpens, your energy multiplies, and your results begin to align with your prayers. Let's talk about this practically. Discipline requires you to prioritize tasks, create routines, and set boundaries. Prioritizing tasks means you focus on what truly matters, not what's urgent, but what's important. Creating routines means you stop relying on emotions and start relying on systems, because systems sustain success. And setting boundaries means protecting your time and energy from anything that pulls you off purpose. You can't say yes to everything and still expect to be organized. Sometimes saying no is the most disciplined thing you can do. When you cultivate discipline, you'll notice something powerful. Life becomes lighter. You stop chasing motivation because discipline gives you momentum. You stop living reactively because discipline gives you rhythm. It brings stability, confidence, and peace of mind. You no longer wake up confused about what to do next. Your day has direction because your mind has order. Even without using familiar names, the truth remains universal. Every great leader, every impactful thinker, every purpose-driven person mastered the art of discipline before they mastered success. Because self-discipline is not just a skill, it's a spiritual law. It honors God when you manage your life with excellence. It says, Lord, I value what you've given me enough to steward it well. And that's why discipline must become your daily lifestyle. It's not a switch you turn on occasionally. It's a muscle you strengthen daily. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're training that muscle. Every time you wake up and follow through on your plans, you're telling your mind who's in charge. The more you do it, the stronger you become. So if you truly want to organize your life, start by mastering yourself. Your environment can't be in order if your inner world is in chaos. The outer mess is just a reflection of an undisciplined mind. But when your inner life becomes structured, your outer world begins to follow. Discipline brings harmony, and harmony creates momentum. So today, make a decision, not an emotional one, a disciplined one. Decide to take back control of your time, your habits, your energy, your thoughts. Because when you master self-discipline, you master life. And when you master life, you become unstoppable. Now, let's dive into identifying and removing clutter. The truth is, no matter how disciplined or focused you are, if your life is filled with clutter, you'll never experience true peace or progress. Clutter is not just the mess you see around you. It's the chaos that silently occupies your mind and spirit. It's the weight that slows you down without you even realizing it. And until you confront it, It will keep you trapped in cycles of frustration, procrastination, and confusion. Clutter comes in many forms: physical, emotional, and spiritual. Let's start with the physical. You can't have mental clarity when your environment is constantly in disorder. Your surroundings reflect your inner state. When your room, workspace, or home is filled with piles of unfinished tasks, unorganized items, or things you no longer need, it silently drains your energy. You begin to feel overwhelmed without understanding why. That's because clutter screams silently. It tells your mind there's more to do, even when you're trying to rest. But when you start decluttering your physical space, you make room for focus, creativity, and calm. Then there's emotional clutter, the kind that hides behind your smile. This is the clutter of old hurts, regrets, unforgiveness, and unresolved feelings. It's that quiet resentment you've been carrying for years, that guilt you never let go of, that disappointment you keep replaying in your mind. Emotional clutter makes you heavy, and no matter how well you organize your schedule, you'll still feel stuck if your heart is cluttered with pain. You can't walk into new seasons while holding on to old wounds. And then there's spiritual clutter, the most dangerous of all. This is the noise that distracts you from hearing God clearly. It's the constant scrolling on social media, the endless comparison, the distractions that rob you of your quiet time and intimacy with Him. You tell yourself you're too busy to pray, too tired to read, too distracted to focus, and yet that's where your strength is being drained. Not because you don't love God, but because your spirit is overcrowded with things that don't matter. The Bible gives us a clear solution in 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. Cast all your cares on Him, for He cares for you. That means you were never designed to carry all that clutter, not the emotional weight, not the spiritual distraction, not even the physical chaos. God's plan is for you to release it. When you cast your cares on Him, you're saying, Lord, I refuse to live heavy. I refuse to live distracted. I choose peace. Now imagine this: a young professional full of potential but struggling to move forward. Every day they wake up to a messy room, a chaotic inbox, unpaid bills, and a mind filled with worry. They spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing their life to others, getting distracted and losing focus. They want to grow, they want to succeed, but their life is cluttered with distractions, debt, and unresolved conflicts. They pray for breakthrough, but they can't see that the first step to breakthrough is decluttering. Because clutter, in any form, blocks clarity. And clarity is the foundation of direction. You can't see where you're going if your mind is clouded with too many open tabs. Sometimes the miracle you're waiting for is hidden behind the mess you refuse to clean up. God can't fill what's already full. If you want Him to move in your life, you must first make room. So how do you begin? You start small. One space, one habit, one emotion at a time. Create your personal decluttering plan. Ask yourself, what in my life no longer serves me? What habits are stealing my time? What relationships are draining my energy? What thoughts keep replaying that I need to surrender to God? Be honest with yourself. Because transformation doesn't begin with pretending everything is fine. It begins with confronting what's not. Decluttering isn't about losing things. It's about gaining yourself back. It's about creating space for peace, purpose, and divine direction. The less clutter you have, the more clearly you can hear God's voice, the more freely you can move, and the more powerfully you can grow. Every area you declutter becomes an open door for new possibilities. So if you feel stuck, maybe it's time to look around and within. It's time to clean up the physical mess, release the emotional weight, and silence the spiritual noise. Because the truth is, peace doesn't come from having more, it comes from needing less. Moving forward, let's dive into goal setting and prioritization. Our main topic will be goal setting and prior. You see, it's not enough to be organized. You must know what you're organizing your life toward. Order without direction leads to frustration. Many people are busy but not productive, active but not effective, moving but not progressing. They wake up every day running, but they don't know where they're running to. And that's one of the greatest tragedies of modern life. People confuse movement with progress. Have you ever met someone who works tirelessly, gives their all, but still feels unfulfilled? It's not because they lack effort. It's because they lack clarity. Hard work means nothing when it's not aligned with purpose. Organization gives you structure, but goals give you direction. Without goals, you'll end up chasing everything and accomplishing nothing. That's why goal setting is not just a productivity habit, it's a spiritual discipline. The Bible gives us this timeless principle in Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 to 3. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it will surely come. That scripture reveals a divine formula. Clarity precedes movement. You must write the vision before you can run with it. Too many people are trying to run without first writing. They want results without direction, success without structure, and purpose without planning. Let's make this practical. There's a major difference between what's urgent and what's important. Urgent things scream for your attention, but important things build your destiny. Checking your messages may be urgent, but developing your purpose is important. Attending every meeting may seem urgent, but nurturing your relationship with God is important. Most people live their lives reacting to the urgent while neglecting the important. And that's why they stay busy, but broke. Tired, but unfulfilled. Active, but empty. Imagine two individuals. The first wakes up every morning, jumps straight into work, answers every notification, says yes to every request, and at the end of the day feels drained but unproductive. They're working hard, but their energy is scattered. The second person wakes up intentionally. They pray, they plan, they prioritize. They know what matters most. Their schedule reflects their purpose. They don't just move through the day, they lead their day. Now tell me, which one are you becoming? Because here's the truth. When you fail to prioritize, life will prioritize itself for you. And it will always choose what's urgent over what's important. You must decide what deserves your energy, your time, and your attention. God's purpose for your life cannot thrive in confusion. It requires clarity, commitment, and intentionality. And this is why goal setting is not optional, it's foundational. When you set goals that align with God's calling, you're not just planning, you're partnering with divine purpose. Your goals become a roadmap for your destiny. They keep you focused when distractions try to pull you off course. They remind you of who you are and what you're becoming. So right now, I want you to pause and reflect. If someone asked you, what are your top 3 priorities in life? Could you answer clearly? Because if you can't name them, you can't manage them. The power of focus begins with clarity. So I challenge you, write down 3 key life priorities that align with your purpose and with God's will for you. It could be deepening your relationship with Him, developing your gifts, or improving your relationship. Whatever they are, make them clear, measurable, and rooted in your divine calling. When you know your priorities, decision-making becomes easier. You don't waste time on distractions because you know what deserves your attention. You don't compare your journey to others because you understand your own assignment. And you stop chasing everything that looks good because you're focused on what is good. What's aligned with your purpose. Remember, success is not about how much you do. It's about how much of what you do truly matters. Organization without direction is like a ship without a compass. But when your goals are clear, your steps become intentional, your energy becomes focused, and your progress becomes unstoppable. So today, make that decision. Don't just live, lead your life. Don't just move with purpose. Don't just work toward what God has placed in your heart. Write your vision, make it plain, and then run toward it with passion, discipline, and faith. Because when you set clear goals aligned with His will, you won't just be busy, you'll be becoming. You see, time is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. You can lose money and make it back, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. Every minute you waste is a piece of your destiny slipping through your fingers. And yet most people treat time casually, as though it will always be there. But when you begin to understand that time is not just a resource, it's a responsibility, everything about the way you live begins to change. Time is not just something to manage, it's something to honor. Managing your time wisely is one of the highest forms of worship because it shows that you respect the life and purpose God has given you. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. That means every purpose has a time slot and every destiny has a schedule. If you have served your time smartly, if you miss the timing, you can delay the manifestation. Think about that. God designed your life in seasons. Moments of planting, moments of growing, moments of harvesting. But if you're out of rhythm with time, you'll find yourself either doing the right thing at the wrong time or the wrong thing at the right time. Both are costly. That's why time management is not just about productivity, it's about spiritual alignment. It's about moving in sync with heaven's rhythm for your life. Now let's make this practical. Time management begins with intentionality. You can't just drift through the day hoping to be productive. You have to plan your day on purpose. Simple techniques like scheduling your tasks, using time blocking, and delegating responsibilities can transform your life. Scheduling helps you give every hour an assignment. Time blocking forces you to focus on one thing at a time without distraction. Time management forces you to focus on one thing at a time without distraction. And delegation teaches you to release control and trust others to help carry the load. Here's the truth. Some of you are exhausted, not because you have too much to do, but because you're trying to do everything yourself. You can't grow if you won't let go. Time management requires humility. The humility to say, I can't do it all, but I can do what matters most. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a busy parent, an entrepreneur, or a student. Constantly running, constantly rushing, constantly overwhelmed. They're juggling work, family, church, and personal goals. Yet every day ends with the same feeling. I didn't have enough time. But the problem isn't the amount of time. We all get the same 24 hours. The problem is the management of it. Because unmanaged time always leads to unnecessary stress. When you learn to manage time well, you take back control of your life. You start your day with purpose instead of panic. You know when to work and when to rest. You know when to say yes and when to say no. And that's important because every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. Time management is really about decision management. It's about having the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. I want you to think deeply about this question. Where are you wasting your time daily? Is it endless scrolling on social media? Is it spending hours worrying about things you can't control? Is it overcommitting to activities that don't align with your calling? Every wasted moment adds up, and over time it can cost you opportunities, growth, and peace. So today, identify that one area, just one, and take control of it. Because if you can reclaim one area of wasted time, you can reclaim your focus, your energy, and your momentum. Here's something powerful to remember. Time is sacred. because it's the platform through which purpose is fulfilled. Every dream you have, every goal you want to achieve, every impact you're meant to make, all of it depends on how you use your time. That's why the enemy doesn't always need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you. If he can steal your focus, he can waste your time. And if he wastes your time, he can delay your destiny. So today I encourage you, start treating time as a gift from God, not a guarantee. Plan your day prayerfully, protect your time fiercely, spend it wisely. Because when you manage your time well, you're not just being organized, you're honoring the one who gave you the time in the first place. When you align your time with your purpose, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop chasing the clock and start mastering it. And once you master time, you begin to master life. You see, time is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. You can lose money and make it back, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. Every minute you waste is a piece of your destiny slipping through your fingers. And yet most people treat time casually, as though it will always be there. But when you begin to understand that time is not just a resource, it's a responsibility, everything about the way you live begins to change. Time is not just something to manage, it's something to honor. Managing your time wisely is one of the highest forms of worship because it shows that you respect the life and purpose God has given you. The Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. That means every purpose has a time slot and every destiny has a schedule. If you miss the timing, you can delay the manifestation. Think about that. God designed your life in seasons, moments of planting, moments of growing, moments of harvesting. But if you're out of rhythm with time, you'll find yourself either doing the right thing at the wrong time or the wrong thing at the right time. Both are costly. That's why time management is not just about productivity, it's about spiritual alignment. It's about moving in sync with heaven's rhythm for your life. Now let's make this practical. Time management begins with intentionality. You can't just drift through the day hoping to be productive. You have to plan your day on purpose. Simple techniques like scheduling your tasks, using time blocking, and delegating responsibilities can transform your life. Scheduling helps you give every hour an assignment. Time blocking forces you to focus on one thing at a time without distraction. And delegation teaches you to release control and trust others to help carry the load. Here's the truth. Some of you are exhausted not because you have too much to do, but because you're trying to do everything yourself. You can't grow if you won't let go. Time management requires humility. The humility to say, I can't do it all, but I can do what matters most. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a busy parent, an entrepreneur, or a student, constantly running, constantly rushing, constantly overwhelmed. They're juggling work, family, church, and personal goals, yet every day ends with the same feeling, I didn't have enough time. But the problem isn't the amount of time. We all get the same 24 hours. The problem is the management of it. Because unmanaged time always leads to unnecessary stress. When you learn to manage time well, you take back control of your life. You start your day with purpose instead of panic. You know when to work and when to rest. You know when to say yes and when to say no. And that's important, because every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that truly matters. Time management is really about decision management. It's about having the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and what doesn't. I want you to think deeply about this question. Where are you wasting your time daily? Is it endless scrolling on social media? Is it spending hours worrying about things you can't control? Is it overcommitting to activities that don't align with your calling? Every wasted moment adds up. And over time, it can cost you opportunities, growth, and peace. So today, identify that one area, just one, and take control of it. Because if you can reclaim one area of wasted time, you can reclaim your focus, your energy, and your momentum. And here's something powerful to remember. Time is sacred because it's the platform through which purpose is fulfilled. Every dream you have, every goal you want to achieve, every impact you're meant to make, all of it depends on how you use your time. That's why the enemy doesn't always need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you. If he can steal your focus, he can waste your time. And if he wastes your time, he can delay your destiny. So today, I encourage you, start treating time as a gift from God, not a guarantee. Plan your day prayerfully. Protect your time fiercely. Spend it wisely. Because when you manage your time well, you're not just being organized, you're honoring the one who gave you the time in the first place. When you align your time with your purpose, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop chasing the clock and start mastering it. And once you master time, you begin to master life. Now let's be real. It's easy to stay focused when everything is going right. It's easy to stay disciplined when life feels smooth, doors are opening, and momentum is on your side. But the true test of discipline doesn't show up in your moments of comfort. It's revealed in your moments of challenge. Because consistency is not built in convenience, it's built in adversity. Every great person you admire didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they learned how to keep going when things got hard. The path to purpose is not always paved with applause. Sometimes it's paved with resistance, silence, and self-doubt. And yet, those who win are those who refuse to stop. The truth is, you will face obstacles. Procrastination will whisper, you can do it tomorrow. Fear will scream, you're not ready. Distractions will tempt you with comfort. And negative influences will try to convince you that you're wasting your time. But here's what I want you to remember. You are not fighting alone. The same God who gave you the vision will give you the strength to see it through. The Bible says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's not just a verse for motivation. It's a declaration of empowerment. It means even when you feel weak, even when you want to quit, there's a supernatural strength within you that refuses to give up. Every time you get back up, every time you try again, every time you push through, that's Christ's strength in you manifesting. Let me share something with you. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means praying even when you're tired. It means believing even when you can't see the results yet. You see, anyone can start, but only the disciplined can finish. Consistency turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Think of someone who faced rejection after rejection. Maybe an entrepreneur who started with nothing, a teacher who poured into students with little recognition, or an artist who kept creating even when no one noticed. They didn't stop because of obstacles. They saw those obstacles as part of their training ground. Every failure shaped their resilience. Every setback deepened their strength. And eventually, their persistence opened the doors that talent alone could never open. You've got to understand that success is not about speed, it's about stamina. It's not how fast you start, it's how long you can endure. Life will test your consistency through disappointments, delays, and discouragements. But when you keep moving forward in faith, you become unstoppable. Because consistency over time, and here's something practical. To stay consistent, you need daily systems that anchor you. Start your day with prayer. That's how you align your spirit. Reflect often. That's how you stay aware of what truly matters. Create routines that protect your focus. That's how you stay productive. And build resilience. That's how you keep going when everything in you wants to stop. Ask yourself, what usually stops me from being consistent? Is it fear? Is it comfort? Is it distraction? Identify it, because you can't defeat what you don't define. Once you recognize your obstacles, you can begin to manage them, not let them manage you. And let me tell you, when you keep showing up, something powerful happens. Heaven begins to recognize your consistency. Breakthroughs begin to respond to your persistence. Opportunities start to open for those who don't quit. Because God rewards faithfulness, not feeling. You may stumble, you may slow down, you may even fall. But if you refuse to stop, you win. Because every time you push through an obstacle, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. You're becoming the kind of person who can sustain the blessing when it finally arrives. So stay consistent. Don't let procrastination steal your time. Don't let fear silence your voice. Don't let distractions pull you off course. And don't let negative voices make you forget who you are, because the God who called you has already equipped you. All you have to do is keep moving, one step, one day, one prayer at a time.